Hi everyone, it's Nicole from Healthy NYC. Welcome. Today we're going to be practicing a really well-rounded Vinyasa flow. We'll be moving slowly and mindfully through our transitions today and holding the poses a bit longer than we normally would in a regular Vinyasa practice just to really connect with our bodies. I recommend having 2 blocks for this practice, and let's start down on our backs in Savasana. So legs out straight in front of you, shoulders down the back, and palms facing up towards the sky. Let's take a few moments here to connect with our breath rhythm. Relaxing into the mat, trying to let go of any tension or tightness in the body. Take 2 more full rounds of breath here. Let's bring the right knee in towards the belly. You can either hold on to the shin or the back of your thigh. Left leg can either be straight or bent. You can sway your hip from side to side here, just warming up the hip joint and getting some mobility going. And if your left leg is straight, go ahead and bend your knee, place the sole of your foot down on the mat. We're going to take half happy baby on the right side. So grab on to the big toe with your 2-piece fingers. Left arm is out to the side. Your ankle is roughly aligned with your knee, and you can use your elbow to gently press your leg open a little bit further. Take some nice deep breaths into the hip. And let's release for a hamstring stretch. So your right leg is up to the sky. You can hold on to the back of your thigh and just point and flex your foot. Just checking in to see how the hamstrings are doing today. You can also bend and straighten your knee, whatever feels good in the body. Let's pull both knees in towards the chest and switch sides. So left knee in towards your belly. Two more breaths here. Let's move into half happy baby on the left side. Right arm is out to the side to help with balance. I'm trying to spread our weight evenly here through both hips. Not rolling too far over to the left. Let's let that go for our hamstring stretch on the left side. Moving intuitively here, whatever feels good in your body. Just warming up in the hamstrings on the left leg. Let's pull both knees in towards the chest. Give them a squeeze. And let's come up to tabletop. Before we move into cat and cow, we're going to stretch out our feet. So sit back on your heels. You can clasp your hands, reach them up over your head. Just getting a nice stretch in the top of the feet and the sides of your waist. Take one more breath here. Let's curl the toes under. Sit back on your heels. You can clasp your hands together, point your fingers out, and just take a nice deep stretch here. Warming up the toes. And let's come into our tabletop position. Your knees are under your hips, your wrists are under your shoulders, elbows are straight. Let's move through cat and cow. So inhale to drop the belly, lift the gaze, curl tailbone up. Exhale to round the spine, chin to chest. Just take a few more here with your own breath at your own pace. Warming up through the spine and the shoulders. Take our last full round. And coming back to a neutral spine. Walk your palms a bit further forward. We're going to move into our first downward dog. So curl your toes under, hips are going up and back. Your hands and your feet are at hip width distance apart. Spreading the fingers nice and wide, pressing into the knuckles. Hugging the lower belly in. Arms are nice and straight. And your head and neck are relaxed. Go ahead and paddle out your feet, whatever feels good in the body. And let's inhale the right leg up to the sky. Go ahead and bend your knee, open up your hip. Pressing into both shoulders evenly. Straighten your right leg, and let's step it forward a few inches behind your right wrist. So your left hand is down on the ground, your back left knee is up, toes curled under. We're going to pivot over on the blades of both feet. Your right hand is up to the sky, so we're in a variation of our side plank pose here. Arm goes overhead. Inhale to lift. Exhale to hover the hips. Inhale to lift. Exhale to hover. Inhale to lift. Exhale to hover. Last one. Bring that right palm down to the mat and press back into your downward dog, and we're going to take our first flow. So inhale to plank, exhale chaturanga. You can take cobra or up dog. Exhale back into your downward dog. 2 breaths here. Let's inhale that left leg up. Bend your knee, open up your hip. Straighten the left leg, and let's step that forward a few inches behind your left wrist. Right hand is down. We're pivoting on the blades of both feet, balancing on our right hand. Your arm can go over your head, We're going to inhale to lift the hips, exhale to hover. Inhale, lift, exhale, hover. Inhale, lift, exhale, hover. Last one, and place that left hand down on the mat, pressing back into your downward dog, and let's take a flow. Inhale to plank, exhale, chaturanga, back bend, and exhale, downward dog. Let's take a cleansing breath here, in through the nose, out through the mouth. Right leg rises, keep it straight and squared, stepping it through to our easy twist. So your left hand is down, your back knee is up, you're lifting your right arm up to the sky, looking wherever is comfortable for your neck. Nice long line between both arms. Take one more breath here. Let's bring that right hand down on the inside of the right foot. And we're going to take a few breaths here in gecko pose. Just going deeper into the hips. I'm keeping my back knee up for this one. Coming back to center, let's pivot towards the left side of our mat for a wide-legged forward fold. Both feet are parallel to the short sides of the mat. You can place your hands on your blocks or down on the mat. And sway out your head and neck. Move from side to side. Feel free to adjust your stance. Your shoulders are away from your ears. Let's crawl the fingers forward. Press into both feet to come all the way up to stand. Heels in, toes out. We're going to move into goddess pose. So you can place your arms on the top of both thighs and just sway back and forth from side to side here. Just getting a nice stretch in your hips. Let's come back to center, press into both feet. We're going to move into warrior two on the right side. So your back foot is parallel to the short end of the mat. We have a generous bend in the front knee. We're really pressing that hip open so it's not collapsing in. Your torso is neutral. Both arms are stretched out nice and strong. Take a few breaths here. Really pressing into that back foot. Let's straighten the front leg and Exalted Triangle. Right arm goes up to the sky, beautiful side body stretch. And let's move into triangle pose. Our hips are going forward and down. Your right hand can either rest on your shin on a block or down on the mat. You can feel free to adjust your back foot to shorten your stance. Left shoulder is open. Looking wherever is comfortable for your neck. Take two more breaths here. Start to look down towards the mat. Bend into that front knee, both hands down, and let's take a flow. Inhale to plank. Exhale, chaturanga, cobra or up dog. Exhale, downward dog. When you're ready, left leg rises. Keep it straight and squared. Stepping it through to our easy twist. Right hand is down, left arm is reaching up to the sky. Take one more breath here. Place the left hand on the inside of your left foot. And let's take a few breaths here in gecko pose. Stay nice and buoyant in your hips. Coming back to center. Let's pivot over to the right side of our mat for a wide-legged forward fold. Your feet are parallel to the short sides. You are resting your hands on your blocks or down on the mat. Let's walk the hands forward. Press into both feet to come all the way up to stand. Turn your heels and toes out. Moving into goddess pose. Your tailbone is neutral here. You can press into the tops of both thighs again to get a nice moving stretch into our hips. Let's come back to center, straighten both legs. We're moving into warrior two on the left side. So your right foot is parallel to the short end of the mat. You have a nice bend in the front knee. Torso is neutral. Both arms are strong. Take one more breath here. Straighten the front leg and let's exalt our triangle. Gorgeous side body stretch on the left. Coming back through, moving into triangle pose. Feel free to shorten your stance by moving the back leg in and take your hand position of choice. Just making sure that we're keeping that right shoulder nice and open. We're not collapsing down towards the mat. One more breath here. Look down towards the mat. Bend into that front knee. Both hands come down. And let's take our flow. Inhale to plank. Exhale, chaturanga. Back bend. Exhale, downward dog. Let's take 2 breaths here. Really stretching it out. Let's lift the heels, bend the knees. You can step or hop to the top of the mat. Halfway lift, flat back. Exhale, fold. Inhale, come all the way up to stand. Hands going over your head. Look up if you can. And bring your hands back to heart center. We're going to be moving into Malasana pose. I'm going to face you so you can see me, but you can stay at the top of your mat. So your heels are in, your toes are out. Bring your hands to heart center and let's lower down into our yogi squat. You can use your elbows to gently press your knees open a little bit further. Nice flat back here. And you can always use a block to sit down on if this is uncomfortable for you. Just take a few moments here, maybe closing your eyes. Really relaxing into this beautiful hip opener. Now you can either stay here in Malasana. If it's available to you, you can bring your heels together, toes apart. Grab onto the backs of both heels and just take a forward fold here. Moving a little bit deeper into our hips. Just let gravity do the work here, not trying to force anything. Let's take a seat down on the mat. We are moving into bound angle pose. So soles of your feet together, grab onto your two big toes, inhale to lift the heart, and exhale, bending from the waist. Relax your upper body. And let's come all the way back up. We're going to be moving into fire log. So fire log can be an intense pose on your hips and your knees. So I will guide you through it and then we can work through some modifications. So if you're moving into fire log, you're going to stack your right shin above your left shin. Both feet are flexed. If this is uncomfortable, again, for your hips or your knees, you can just stagger your calves and take the fold from there. So let's inhale and exhale. Folding down to your level of comfort. Again, this is already an intense stretch. You can also feel free to skip the fold. We're just moving towards a really great stretch in the right hip. One more breath. Let's come back up and switch sides. Take whatever pose you did on the first side. If you are doing fire log, again, you're crossing your left shin over your right. You want both feet flexed and folding forward in your variation. And let's come all the way back up. You can pull your legs in, cross at your ankles, and let's all meet in our downward dog. And let's take a flow. Inhale to plank. Exhale, chaturanga, cobra or up dog. Exhale, downward dog. Right leg rises, keep it straight and square, stepping it through to warrior one. So your back foot is going to pivot at a 45-degree angle. We're going to have a nice generous bend in the front knee. Both hip bones are facing forward. And let's reach our arms up to the sky. Your torso is neutral. Hugging your lower belly in to support the pose. Let's circle the arms. Bring your hands on your waist. Straighten your front leg. Bring your back foot in a few inches to shorten your stance. Both hip bones are facing forward. Let's take an inhale to lift the heart and exhale, holding halfway. So you can already feel the engagement in your right hamstring. Let's come all the way back up. If you'd like to go further, lift your left arm up. Inhale. Exhale, holding halfway. Coming back up. If you'd like an additional challenge, reach both arms up. Inhale. And exhale, holding halfway. Nice long line between your tailbone and the crown of your head. Take one more breath. And let's fold down into pyramid. Your hands can either be on your blocks or down on the mat. Really scooping that left hip forward. And you can always bend your knee on the right if your hamstrings are tight. Take 2 more breaths here. And let's come up about halfway. We're going to move into Revolved Triangle. I really like to use a block here. It's helpful to lift into the twist. So you're going to want your left hand under your left shoulder, either on a block at either setting or the mat. And then you're going to lift that right arm up to the sky. This is a deep twist here, so hugging your lower belly. Pressing into that back foot. Take 1 more breath. Both hands are coming down to the mat, and let's move through our flow. Inhale to plank, exhale chaturanga, cobra or up dog, and exhale into downward dog. Left leg rises, keep it straight and squared. Let's step through to a warrior 1. So your right foot is spinning at a 45-degree angle. Both hip bones are facing forward, bending into the front knee. Take a few breaths here in this nice strong pose. Hugging that lower belly. Let's circle the arms, straighten your front leg, bring the back foot in a few inches to shorten your stance. Let's inhale to lift the heart and bending from the waist. Let's hold halfway. Coming all the way back up. If you'd like to go further, right arm goes up. Take an inhale, lift the heart. Exhale, holding halfway. Coming back up. If you'd like an additional challenge, your left arm is up. Take a big inhale. Exhale, hold halfway. Hugging the lower belly in. And let's fold down into our pyramid pose. Pulling that right hip forward. Bending the left knee as much as you need to. And try to go deeper into the pose just by relaxing your upper body. Let's come up about halfway for Revolved Triangle. So your hand is either on the mat or on a block. Your hand is under your right shoulder, and you're lifting your left arm up, moving into the twist. Hugging that lower belly in, pressing into the back foot. Take 1 more breath here. Both hands come down to the mat, and let's move through our flow. Inhale to plank, exhale chaturanga, cobra or up dog. Exhale back into downward dog. Really stretch it out here. Seeing if your heels are closer to the mat than when we started. And let's come down to the mat and lie down on our backs. Bring both knees in towards your chest. You can either stay here or move into Happy Baby by grabbing onto the outside edges of both feet or your 2 big toes. Tailbone is pressing into the mat. And when you're ready, let's move into Savasana, our final resting pose. Legs stretched out. Shoulders are down your back, palms are facing up to the sky. Let's take this opportunity to fully relax our bodies, integrating all the work we've done in the practice today. And start to bring some movement back to the body. Start to breathe a little deeper. Rolling over to one side, keeping your eyes closed. Gently push yourself up to a comfortable seated position. Keeping the eyes closed, focusing inward. Bring your hands to heart center and let's take one more breath to close our practice. Inhaling through the nose and exhale through the mouth. Thank you so much for practicing with me today. I hope you enjoyed this flow. Please do remember to like, subscribe, and comment, and I will see you again soon. Namaste.